One mistake, one bad decision, and suddenly, a Hollywood career is over. Social media explodes, headlines go wild, and just like that, someone who once ruled the red carpet disappears. But what happens after the outrage dies down? Do they fade away? Or do they find a way back? Some tried to clear their name, others walked away completely. And some? They managed to make a full comeback. From comedians who crossed the line to actors and musicians courting controversy, here's what really happened to some of the biggest names who got cancelled. From public apologies to total disappearances, these stories will surprise you. Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart is one of Hollywood's best-known comedians, celebrated for his memorable movie roles and a solid collection of stand-up specials. But being outspoken has occasionally backfired. In 2019, just as he was gearing up to host the Oscars, a career-defining moment, some old tweets came back to haunt him, and things quickly unraveled. Among those tweets, one from 2011 read, "Yo, if my son comes home and tries to play with my daughter's dollhouse, I'm going to break it over his head and say in my voice's top, that's gay." In another, he looked at a photo of actor Damien Dante Wayans and said it looked like a gay billboard for AIDS. And if that wasn't enough, he casually dropped phrases like fat-faced fag in a bunch of older tweets. When all of this resurfaced, the internet didn't hold back. The backlash was instant. It got so bad, Kevin Hart had to step down before he ever touched that stage. Just like that, one of the biggest gigs of his career, gone. Following the controversy, Hart put out public apologies for the tweets, explaining that they were meant to be jokes and promising he wouldn't go down that road again. In a Rolling Stone interview, he even pushed back a bit, questioning cancel culture by asking, "Why set yourself up for failure?" These days, Hart's still a vocal critic of cancel culture, arguing that not every mistake should be a life sentence. Whether you agree with him or not, one thing's clear: Kevin Hart didn't get cancelled for good. He's still doing movies, selling out shows, and definitely hasn't disappeared. Chrissy Teigen. Chrissy Teigen has been a pop culture regular for years. She first broke out as a Sports Illustrated model, then went on to drop cookbooks, launch a cookware line, and become known for her activism and unfiltered social media takes. Oh, and she married John Legend, the man behind All of Me and a whole lot of Grammys. So yeah, life looked pretty good. But in May 2021, a serious controversy from the past came back to bite her. Singer and model Courtney Stodden revealed that back in 2011, Chrissy had sent her some seriously nasty messages, both publicly and privately. One tweet allegedly wished for Courtney to take a dirt nap, and in a DM, Chrissy reportedly wrote, "I can't wait for you to die." At the time, Courtney was still a minor, which made the situation even worse. Once the news spread, people were outraged. Many called for Chrissy to apologize, and she did, admitting she had been insecure and attention-seeking in the past. Courtney accepted the apology but questioned whether it was truly sincere, especially since it only came after the backlash. The fallout was massive. Chrissy lost major brand deals and TV opportunities. Since then, she's been working to turn things around. In July 2022, she marked a full year of sobriety, saying she felt healthier and more in control of her life. James Corden. James Corden became a household name when he took over The Late Late Show, turning into an overnight celebrity in the US. With his energetic, friendly vibe and viral segments like Carpool Karaoke, James quickly became known as the fun, friendly British guy who could make anyone laugh. He even landed roles in movies and musicals, all while keeping audiences entertained with his signature charm. And for a while, it felt like everything he touched turned to gold. But off-camera, things weren't as polished. A wave of controversy hit when reports surfaced about his behavior at the New York restaurant Balthazar. The owner, Keith McNally, publicly called him out for being rude to the staff, even going as far as banning him from the restaurant. One incident involved James demanding free drinks after finding a hair in his food. In another, he He reportedly snapped at a server over an omelette being made incorrectly. The backlash was swift, and the internet wasn't kind. James responded by addressing the situation on The Late Late Show, publicly apologizing and clearing the air. Keith McNally later lifted the ban, but the damage to James's reputation had already been done. Not long after, James announced he would be stepping away from the show in 2023. Whether he'll manage a comeback remains to be seen, but for now, he'll need to win over a whole new audience. Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf is a name most people recognize, thanks to his standout roles in the Transformers movies. Over the years, he's built quite a career, not just in acting, but also as a motivational speaker and performance artist. With a net worth of $25 million, it seemed like everything was going pretty well for him in Hollywood. But then, things took a turn when serious accusations surfaced. These accusations came from his ex-wife, Kalia Barnett, who goes by the stage name FKA Twigs. The two were married from 2018 to 2019, but according to Kalia, that relationship was far from easy. In December of 2020, she filed a lawsuit against Shia, accusing him of sexual assault, battery, and inflicting emotional distress. The details were very disturbing. One claim alleged that Shia once drove recklessly with her in the car, threatening to crash unless she professed her love. Kalia also claimed that Shia tried to choke her during the night and that he gave her an STD. After the lawsuit went public, Shia issued a quick apology saying, "I'm ashamed of my history and deeply sorry to those I've hurt." He explained that at the time he was struggling with mental health issues, but he's worked hard to change since then. He even shared that he converted to Catholicism in August of 2022, marking a new chapter in his life. While Shia claims he's turning a new leaf, Hollywood is still wary of his return. It might take some time for him to win back both the public and the industry, especially with social media still holding on to the past. Ellen DeGeneres. Ellen DeGeneres has been a familiar face on TV for decades. She first made a name for herself with her sitcom Ellen, but it was the Ellen DeGeneres Show that turned her into one of the most recognizable talk show hosts in the world. The show was a massive success, pulling in millions of viewers every day and earning Ellen an estimated net worth of $375 million. That kind of money put her among the highest-paid entertainers out there. On camera, Ellen came across as fun-loving, kind, and always ready to crack a joke. But off-camera, things weren't as cheerful as they seemed. At least that's what some former employees claimed. A group of ex-staff members came forward with serious allegations, claiming the workplace environment was toxic and even racist. They accused Ellen of ignoring reports of sexual harassment on set and said she allowed microaggressions toward non-white employees to go unchecked. Others claimed they were fired after taking medical leave or needing time off for family emergencies. And during the height of the pandemic, Ellen reportedly cut a huge chunk of her team and replaced them with non-union workers. At first, Ellen denied the accusations, but the internet wasn't having it. The story spread fast, and soon the pressure was on. To try and calm things down, her team announced an internal investigation, bringing in a third-party consultant to assess the situation. Ellen also publicly apologized, admitting that something had gone wrong. In a letter to her staff, she said, "On the first day of our show, I told you all that the Ellen DeGeneres Show would be a place of joy, where nobody would raise their voice and everyone would be treated with respect. Something changed, and I am deeply disappointed to learn that this hasn't been the case. For that, I apologize." But the damage was done. The controversy only grew, and by May 2022, the Ellen DeGeneres Show announced its final season. After years of being one of the most beloved figures on daytime TV, Ellen's reputation took a massive hit. Whether she can make a full comeback or not, that's still up in the air. Will Smith. Will Smith has been a household name for decades. He started out as the charismatic lead in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and from there, his career took off. Blockbusters like Men in Black, Bad Boys, I Am Legend, and Aladdin made him one of Hollywood's biggest stars. His movies have pulled in a staggering $9 billion worldwide, and with a net worth of $350 million, he was at the top of his game. Then came the Oscars, and in just a few seconds, everything changed. During the ceremony, comedian Chris Rock made a joke about Will's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith. At first, Will seemed to laugh until suddenly he walked onto the stage and slapped Chris across the face. The room went silent. As he sat back down, he yelled, "Keep my wife's name out of your mouth." Within minutes, the internet exploded. Some said Will Smith was standing up for his wife. Others thought he'd completely crossed the line. The Academy wasn't subtle. They banned him from the Oscars for 10 years. Will apologized later that night and followed up with a more emotional video a few days later. But the damage was done. The moment rewrote how a lot of people saw him. Studios hit pause on some of his films, and his polished, drama-free image took a major hit. He's still one of the biggest names in Hollywood, but after everything that went down, the real question is whether the public is ready to let it go, or if the slap will always be part of the story. Kevin Spacey. Few actors are as closely tied to a single role as Kevin Spacey. His portrayal of Frank Underwood in House of Cards turned him into the face of one of Netflix's biggest shows. The political drama was a massive success, earning him 2 Screen Actors Guild Awards and 5 consecutive Emmy nominations. Long before that, he had already made his mark in Hollywood, with a star on the Walk of Fame and even an honorary title from the British Empire. And then, in 2017, everything came crashing down. It all started with one allegation. In October of that year, actor Anthony Rapp accused Kevin of making inappropriate advances at a party. The shocking part, Anthony was just 14 years old at the time, while Kevin was 26. Kevin responded on Twitter saying he didn't remember the incident but apologized anyway, claiming he may have been drunk. That was enough to raise eyebrows, but what happened next made things even worse. After Anthony spoke out, more people came forward. Boston News anchor Heather Unruh accused Kevin of assaulting her son. Other actors like Tony Montana, Roberto Cavazos, and Harry Dreyfus shared similar stories. Even crew members from House of Cards reported experiencing inappropriate behavior. The list of allegations grew by the day. Kevin's response: he came out as gay. Many in the LGBTQ+ community saw Kevin's response as a deflection, a way to shift the conversation away from the accusations by coming out. It didn't work. Hollywood cut ties with him almost immediately. His upcoming projects were scrapped, and House of Cards wrote him out of the show. It looked like Kevin's acting career was over. But then he made a comeback, in the strangest way possible. About a year after the scandal, Kevin posted a bizarre video on YouTube titled, "Let Me Be Frank." In it, he seemed to slip back into his Frank Underwood persona, speaking directly to the camera with an eerie message. It was unsettling, to say the least. Then, the next Christmas, he dropped another video telling people to kill your enemies with kindness. And if that wasn't weird enough, he later posted another message urging suicidal people to seek help. Meanwhile, he started picking up small roles in European films, his way of slowly easing back into the industry. Legally, he did catch a break. In 2022, a New York court ruled in his favor and dismissed Anthony Rapp's claims. While this was a win for him, Kevin isn't exactly in the clear. Other allegations are still out there, and his Hollywood comeback remains uncertain. Whether he'll ever fully return to the spotlight is still up in the air. But one thing's for sure, his legacy will never be the same. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. That way, you won't miss any of our deep dives into Hollywood's biggest stories.